Okay, so finishing up here with our equations of circles. So this is the new piece that we have not gone over yet, and we're going to be looking at equations that are in the general form. Okay, and these look crazy. It'll be something like x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 2y equals 8. Okay. And we've got to get them into the standard form of our circle. Okay. So, how are we going to go about doing this then? Well, we are going to need to complete the square. Okay. Now, some of you guys might be like, I do not remember completing the square at all. So, just a quick review completing the square was when we had something like x squared plus 6x. I don't know, we'll say 6 plus 5. Okay. So, x squared plus 6x plus 5. If we were going to complete the square, we would need to look at our middle number. So, we would be looking at a 6 in this case. And this is where we have to find our magic and our secret number. So to find that magic and that secret number, we would take that 6 divided by 2, which would give me a 3. Then I have to square it, which would give me a 9. Okay, so I'd have an x squared plus 6x equals a negative 5 because we moved that over to the other side. 9 is our magic number, so we would be adding 9 to both sides of the equation. And then we essentially use that magic number to force this to factor into an x something squared. And then what went in that blank with the x? Well, that was our secret number. So we would have a plus 3 on the inside. Okay. So what you guys need to know is basically this here, how we got that and where we had to add in our magic number and our secret number. Okay. But we are going to be completing the square to turn these equations that are in that general form into our standard form of a circle where it's the x minus h squared plus the y minus k squared. Okay, so let's practice then. Here we go, general form. Okay, I've got x squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 6y plus 8 equals 0. So the first thing that we have to do with this is we do have to make sure that the number in front of the x squared and the y squared is 1. Okay, this will not work unless the number in front of the x squared and the y squared is 1. So in this case here, we're good. Okay, I always have kids that are like, well, what if it's a 2x squared minus 4x plus 3y squared plus 6y plus 8? Okay, I would have to divide. Well, actually, this isn't even a circle. Whoops, thought I was on the highlighter, and I obviously was not. So let me get that back up there, plus 3y squared. This here, guys, you'll never have to worry about a situation where it looks like this because that's not a circle if their numbers are different. Okay? Now, if I had something like this here where it was a 2y squared, their numbers are the same. Gosh dang it, did it again. Their numbers are the same on this one, 2y squared. Well, then I can't have that number in front, so all I would have to do is I would divide everything by that 2 to get rid of it. Okay, so everything divided by 2 gets rid of it. Now, for this case here, though, there are no numbers in front, so we're good to go on that one. Okay, so I need to move my constant term, so I'm going to move my 8 over to the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to write this out, x squared minus 4x, and I need to leave a space because remember that space is for our magic number. I'll have a plus y squared plus 6y, and then again, I'm going to leave a space, and then that equals 8. So I have two spaces here, which means I'm going to have to find two different magic numbers, and I'm going to get two different secret numbers. Okay, so starting out, I will look at negative 4. So negative 4, I need to find its magic number. Negative 4 divided by 2 gives me a negative 2. Now I can square that. Okay, negative 2 squared gives me 4. So 4 is my magic number, and I'm going to add 4 into that section there. Remember, though, if I add 4 on one side, I must add 4 on the other side as well. Also, I just looked and realized I forgot my negative there. That is a negative 8. Sorry about that. Okay. The next one that I'm going to look at is a 6. Okay. So now for this one, I need to take 6 divided by 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. Then I'm going to square it. Okay, that would give me a 9. So 9 is my other magic number. And again, if I add 9 on one side, I've got to add it to the other side as well. Okay, now I have forced this thing here to factor into an x something squared. So what goes in the blank there? That's our secret number. So we would have our -2 in that place. Plus, I force this to factor into a y something squared. What goes in there with the y? That's our secret number. So we would have a +3 in that case. And then as far as the numbers go on the outside, -8 plus 4 is -4, plus 9 is 5. So I have now turned this equation that was in the general form into an equation that is in the standard form. Okay, based on that, I can go through and say, okay, its center is at 2, -3, and its radius, remember, is not 5. Its radius would be the square root of 5, which I can't simplify any more than that. So when you guys take your quiz on this lecture 8, it's going to give you one in the general form like this. Then it's going to say, hey, what's the standard form? Then it's going to ask for the center and the radius. And then with all that information, you guys can go about graphing this thing. Okay, so that is turning general form into your standard form. So let's try another one here. Okay, now if we remember this one, we've got to do something before we get started because there is a number in front of the x squared and the y squared. So the first thing I need to do on this is I need to get rid of that. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Everything up there has to get divided by 2. When I do that, I end up with an x squared plus a 4x plus a 2y minus a 2y. That is not a 4x. I am sorry. Okay, that would be a 2x. Jeez Louise. Struggling. Sorry. New tools, right? So this would be a 2x. That is a y squared minus a 2y minus 7 equals 0. Okay, let me check. 2x squared divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. Okay, looks like we're good. Sorry about that struggle there. Now, we are ready to go. So, I can add my 7 to the other side of this equation. Okay, when I do that, that gives me an x squared plus 2x. Leave a space. Plus y squared minus 2y. Leave a space. Equals 7. Okay, first one I'm going to look at, I got a +2. +2 divided by 2 gives me a +1. +1 squared gives me a 1. So my magic number is 1. I need to make sure that I add that on both sides of the equation. Next, I'm going to look at a -2. -2 divided by 2 gives me a -1. -1 squared gives me a +1. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides of the equation there. I have forced this to factor over here. I forced it to factor into an x something squared. What is that something in there? Well, that would be my secret number, so it would be a +1. Plus, I've got a y squared minus 2y, okay? And I have forced that to factor into a y something squared, okay? That forces me to factor that into a y something squared. What is that something? Well, that is my secret number again, which this time is a -1. And that will equal 9. Okay, so that is the standard form for my circle. If you want to know what the center is, just to check yourself, it would be -1, 1. And my radius on this one would be a 3. And we'll be practicing these problems in class. We will spend more time practicing these just because they are different than what you've done before. Don't worry about doing this practice here. We can talk about that one. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay. And we will get to work on this in class.